Hey everyone, Data here, and welcome at long last to our first career simulation on NHL 25. Today, simulating through the career of Washington Capitals prospect Ryan Leonard. Leonard was drafted 8th overall by the Capitals in 2023, and since then has been incredible for Boston College as he's put up a combined 42 goals and 77 points in 56 games through 2 seasons at time of recording. Leonard is a hard-working two-way forward with a heavy shot who is dangerous with the puck in the offensive zone and is just overall an exceptionally versatile player who the Caps are very much looking forward to having in their organization. Now, before we get started for the simulation today, something new that I'm trying for some career sims on NHL 25, starting with this one, is crowdsourcing the simulation itself so that I can put together and voice over the information, but not actually do the simulating myself. I've done over 25 sims since NHL 20, and each one takes close to a week to record and edit with how slow the game is, which puts a halt on other content on the channel. So I asked if some people in the channel community would be interested in helping out, and to my astonishment, almost 20 people responded yes. This will help me to publish exceptionally more career sims for all of you, and if you want to join the simulation team, please join our Discord server, which is linked in the description, and send me a message to let me know. So with all that said, let's get this simulation started, and as always, everything is completely hands-off as we do not do anything but simulate through the 20 or so years of Leonard's career to see how events unfold. The simulation was completed by Lacton, so a ginormous thank you to him for being the first channel member to help out, and I look forward to being able to do more in the very near future, so let me know in the comments below whose career you'd like to see simulated next. Don't forget to subscribe to not miss out on any of those career sims or our franchise mode series, as the community will be that much greater with you as a part of it. And with that being said, let's begin the career of Ryan Leonard. So to start things off in year 0, Ryan Leonard isn't in the NHL just yet for 2024-25, but within the Caps organization, he will be a 77 overall with medium league potential. His height and weight will be in centimeters and kilograms respectively throughout this video as Lacton was recording over in Europe, but he is about 6 foot, 190 pounds to begin the simulation. In the Caps organization, listed as a power forward, you could call him a two-way forward, even a sniper in some ways. Here are his attributes to begin this simulation. 2 to 3 stars for all the attributes, most notably 83 hand-eye, 83 puck control, all the shooting accuracies and power in the low 80s. Just a very well-rounded and versatile player, as I mentioned. And in the game, because they can't put him over in college, he is placed into the American Hockey League with the Hershey Bears. As you know, in the real world, he wouldn't play there in 2024-25, but he is playing on that first line in this fictional universe. And hey, the Hershey Bears finished atop the AHL in year 0. We won't be counting this for his grand career totals, as it's not happening in the real world, but just to throw out there, hey, why not? 28 goals, 56 points in 72 games played. The Hershey Bears went to their conference finals. They lost in round 3, and in those 14 postseason games, Leonard scored 12 points and was eventually the winner of the Dudley Rhett Garrett Memorial Award, which is the AHL equivalent of the Calder. So hey, Ryan Leonard, at the end of that year 0, moving into his year 1 rookie season, will actually be an 80 overall, now listed as a 4th line forward, with the attributes looking like this. Already the shooting accuracy is up to 86, the physical up to 3.5 stars. Great growth over this, what would be college season, moving into 2025-26 for his rookie season. So let's get this party started, ladies and gentlemen. Year number 1, Ryan Leonard at 20 years of age has broken into the NHL for 2025-26, and he's starting in Washington's top 6 already, having pushed out Pierre-Luc Dubois. How about that? Playing on the second line with Connor McMichael and Tom Wilson. Not a bad line to start your career off on. Here are his attributes for year number 1. The shooting accuracy is already up to 88 each. Physical at 4 stars. You love to see that. And even though it's his rookie season, the game had it that this is the final year of his entry-level contract, as he played in the AHL last year. I guess he started with a 2-year deal. Not sure what, but his rookie season here will require him to have a contract into his sophomore season. In his rookie season, the Washington Capitals finished 28th in the NHL. Not a fantastic record, but 30, 42, and 10 for an aging Caps core. In the stats category, 18 goals and 20 assists, just 38 points, and a negative 15 while appearing in 79 games. You would have thought maybe a bit more playing second line minutes, but he is a rookie, and look at the names above him, as the Capitals seem to acquire a lot of talent throughout the season. In rookie scoring, he was actually 2nd in the NHL, so you got to give him that. Growing to an 83 after year 1, I'm hopeful for what would happen in year 2. He's now listed as a 3rd line scoring forward. Already looking at the attributes, again, continuing to grow. The 4-star physical, 90 aggressiveness, 89 offensive awareness. I'm not worried about Ryan Leonard after a quiet rookie season, and we'll see what kind of contract he gets into his sophomore year. Lots to be excited about for year number 2 as Ryan Leonard grows to an 87 overall and will now be centering the top line here in Washington with Alexander Ovechkin on his left and new acquisition Brock Besser on his right. What a chance here for the young sophomore who signed a 2-year bridge contract in the offseason and paying him just over $10 million, 5.05 per year for the next couple seasons. We'll see what happens after that, as I'm sure a much bigger contract will be coming his way. 4.5-star shooting, 5-star senses, 5-star physical with Ovi on his left and Besser on his right. Gotta cross your fingers for year number 2, but sadly, the team just couldn't put it together as the Caps finished dead last in the NHL for Leonard's sophomore season, 32nd in the NHL with a record of 27-51-4. Really down year for everybody, it looks like, as you thought that Ovechkin would be the guy. Only 29 goals from Ovi, as Leonard, yes, had better numbers in his second year, 25 goals, 30 assists, 55 points in 80 games. I am shocked here. Ovi 55 points, Besser just 45 points. I have no idea what to tell you right there. Ryan Leonard, he got good ice time, 19-23 per night. He got great opportunities. He got to learn a lot from Ovi. All right, we'll take it as a learning season, 87 overall. Attributes don't look too different after that year. I think there's some slight growth to his shooting accuracies, and he gained a couple of X factors as well. So kudos to you, Ryan Leonard. Ovi retires in the offseason. We'll see what the Caps can do for year number 3, as Leonard has to have a bit more of the burden on his shoulders. In year number 3, Ryan Leonard grows to an 88 overall and gets 3 more X factors, now give him 5 superstar abilities. No more Ovi on his left as Connor McMichael joins him there, but still Brock Besser on his right after that ridiculously bad season, we'll just call it that. Attributes look pretty much the same. The shooting accuracies are back down to 91, okay, but pretty much where we left off with Ryan Leonard. A few more increases, he's gotten to 88 overall. And hey, the Capitals get a lot better as well, going from dead last to 12th in the NHL, making the postseason for the first time in Leonard's short career now in year number 3. 94 points, 44, 32, and 6 was the record for the Caps, as Ryan Leonard appears in all 82 games and goes point per game plus, 33 goals, 55 assists, career highs across the board, 88 points from him, 91 from McMichael, finally 64 from Besser. A great third season here for Ryan Leonard, as he'll finally get a little bit of a taste of the postseason, but that taste is a little bit bitter, as it was an exciting round 1 victory against the Islanders in 7, but then the Capitals fall in round number 2 in 5 games to the Devils, who would go on to fall to the eventual Stanley Cup champion Toronto Maple Leafs. Always feels weird to say in the sim. In the postseason, Ryan Leonard scored just 1 goal, 7 assists, 8 points, and a +2 through 12 games. He led the team by far with 22 penalty minutes, so undisciplined in his first career postseason, but he does also move one of his superstar abilities to a zone ability, the gold little icons below his name, and as a 92 overall now, check out these attributes, everything between 3.5 and 5 stars, but it's just the skating lacking behind a little bit. Puck skills, senses, defense, and physical, all at 5 stars, 90 plus overall, all those X factors. You got to think that year number 4 will be the best season yet. The Caps are running back the same top line in year number 4, as Leonard has McMichael on his left and Besser on his right. McMichael up to an 89 overall now. Leonard still with those X factors, superstar abilities, zone abilities, all that great stuff. And also now an A on his jersey here in Washington to begin his 4th season with the Caps. Fantastic. Also a great new contract for him. He's going to be getting paid $9.55 million over the next 4 years. So another little bridge type deal, not his big contract just yet. We'll see what happens when he's in his later 20s, but he'll get paid $38.2 million over the next 4 years. Attributes looking fantastic, still pretty much the same in terms of the stars, and I don't think anything changed over the off season. So let's go ahead and get into the results of this one. And the Capitals are once again in the postseason, finishing 11th place in the NHL, 43, 31, and 8, similar record to last season. Ryan Leonard, not as good of a result as last season, but he leads the team this time. So instead of scoring 88 and being second, he now scores 81 and is first, as McMichael and Besser drop down a little bit, especially McMichael. 23 goals and 58 assists for 81 points in 81 games from Ryan Leonard. We can call that a point per game season, absolutely. But in the postseason, the Caps once again fall to the Devils in 5 games. Instead of the second round, it's in the first round this year. So it's a 5-game exit for the Caps. In those 5 games, Ryan Leonard as first-line center, 0 goals and 2 assists. So he's only been in the postseason a couple times now, and neither have looked great. Ryan Leonard, you got to try and find it in the postseason, buddy. After that lackluster postseason, he does drop down to a 91 overall, still listed as a first-line forward, of course, but his overall does drop just a tad. Defense down to 4.5 stars now, so let's hope that he can regain that confidence over the offseason. No changes for year number 5 as Leonard remains at a 91 overall with McMichael on his left and Besser on his right. No changes to his attributes either after that lackluster postseason, but the Caps took that first round exit as a bit of a wake-up call and they win their division in 2030, 9th place in the NHL and Leonard's first division title. 48-31-3 was the Capitals' record, and Leonard was a big part of that record. 47 goals and 50 assists, 97 points, new career high for Leonard as he appeared in 80 games. That first line definitely got it done, and Leonard's 47 goals were good enough for 5th most in the NHL. How about that? But he does enter the postseason injured, and that may have hurt the Capitals in round number 1 as they fell in 7 to the Senators. Another first round exit. Leonard did appear in the final 5 games of the series. He missed games 1 and 2, 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points in 5 games from Ryan Leonard, but sadly not enough for the Caps to break through round 1. As Leonard does grow back to a 92 overall, back to his attributes growing just a tad more. Look at that 97 aggressiveness, 95 strength, but sadly another first round exit. Year number 6 now in Washington, and Ryan Leonard begins the season as a 92 overall, still with his good buddy Connor McMichael on his left, but now Joe Aginla on his right as an 88, Besser dropping to the second line with Strome and Miroshnichenko. So that's a bit of a change on the first line here in Washington. There are Leonard's attributes to begin this 6th season of his career, and in the regular season it was not a division title, but still 13th place in the NHL for the Caps as they once again make the postseason with a 42-30-10 record. Ryan Leonard had a down season, but due to injury, 23 goals and 29 assists, so 52 points in 65 games, entering the postseason injured as well. And once again, that may have been the difference as the Caps fall in round 1 in 6 games to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Leonard did appear in 5 out of 6 games, so I would assume that he just missed game 1. In those 5 games, though, just 2 goals and 1 assist, 3 points in 5 games from the 92 overall. The attributes look like this at the end of year number 6. The defense dropped half a star, I believe. Physical down a couple attributes there as well. Yeah, it's been a couple years of injuries from Ryan Leonard. Let's hope for some health and let's hope for some deep postseason runs now for the 26-year-old. Year number 7 for Ryan Leonard, and a big change on his line as he no longer has Connor McMichael on his left. It's now going to be Dylan Strome on that first line left wing. Still Joe Aginla on the right. He's down to an 86 though. Ryan Leonard begins the season as a 91. That's tough. We got to change up the line mates. Did that affect the Capitals? I don't think so, as they finish atop the Eastern Conference, second best in the NHL with a 50-22-10 record. Ryan Leonard seemed to be able to click with his line mates, although once again not leading the team in points. Why is that though? More injuries for Leonard that kept him out of 11 games over the course of the season. 33 goals and 39 assists for 72 points in 71 games, so another technically point per game plus season from Leonard. In the postseason, the Caps finally make it out of round 1 but fall in game 5 of round 2 for the second time in Leonard's career. He's never made it further than game 5 of round 2 as they beat the Maple Leafs in 6 games in round 1 then fall to the Hurricanes in 5. In the postseason, again, Ryan Leonard just goes quiet. 1 goal and 5 assists. 6 points and a -4 in 11 games played from Leonard, who is now up to a 92 overall. Fantastic attributes, back to the best they've ever been, but he will be an unrestricted free agent as that 4-year contract paying him over $9.5 million is expiring. Does he sign back with Washington after 5 consecutive first or second round exits? Let's see what happens moving into year number 8. Year number 8, and in the 2032 offseason, Ryan Leonard does go to unrestricted free agency, and he decides to take his talents back to his home state of Massachusetts. How about that for a storyline? Signing a 6-year contract with the Boston Bruins, paying him just under $14 million per year. $13.985 over 6 seasons to pay him just under $84 million. Instantly named an alternate captain for the Bruins as well, and he'll play first-line center as a 92 overall with Frondell on his left and Jack Quinn on his right. His attributes have never been better, and he's definitely crossing his fingers, making a big commitment, leaving the Caps and going to the Bruins. But in year number 8, the Bruins finished 22nd in the NHL, breaking his postseason streak. The Bruins go 38, 36, and 8 to miss out on the dance, as Ryan Leonard does do well offensively, 27 goals and 47 assists, 74 points in 77 games, but it's not quite the Ryan Leonard we know, nor the one that the Bruins really signed. Nonetheless, he remains at a 92 overall with his attributes still looking as good as ever. And in the offseason, the Bruins actually, just a little side note, they win the draft lottery jumping from 11 to 1, and they draft a franchise defenseman, so hopefully that helps out the Bruins overall. To begin year number 9, Ryan Leonard has a new left winger on this first line here in Boston. Coleman, who led the team in points last season, joins Leonard and Quinn on that first line, so that could really be something. Leonard as a 92 overall, nothing really changing much. Maybe you're catching an attribute or two that changes here or there. And in year number 9, the Bruins do indeed make the postseason with a 15th place finish, beating out the Flyers, who finished just above them, I suppose, with the divisions and all that. They just squeak in with a 41-30-11 record. Ryan Leonard led the team in points with 27 goals and 52 assists for 79 points in a fully healthy 82-game season. But in the postseason, it's heartbreak in round number 2 as the Bruins beat Detroit in 6 in round 1, but then Leonard once again falls to the Hurricanes, this time in 7 in round number 2. The Hurricanes went on to win the Stanley Cup. This is the furthest Leonard ever made it, game 7 of round 2, but sadly not enough. Thankfully, Ryan Leonard did put up a better performance, 3 goals and 7 assists for 10 points in 13 games, still -2, still 92 overall, attributes still look great. You got a little bit of a taste of something with Boston. Let's hope that that can carry into year number 10 now. Year number 10, the decade mark for Ryan Leonard as he continues to center the first line here in Boston as a 92 overall with Coleman on his left and Quinn on his right. Big news for Ryan Leonard over the offseason as he is named captain of the Bruins organization in just his 3rd year in Boston. The 29-year-old, who was an alternate captain in Washington, now gets to wear the C for the first time in his career. That's really great to see. Ryan Leonard, captain of the Bruins, lovely attributes. First season at the helm. Sadly, a 23rd place finish for the Bruins as they go 39, 38, and 5 to miss out on the dance. But Ryan Leonard once again dealing with some injuries. 55 games played in his first year as captain, scoring just 12 goals, add in 32 assists for a 44-point season. He remains at a 92 overall, so that's good news. Now at the age of 30, attributes looking good, and let's hope for a fully healthy season for year number 11 as he continues on as captain. Year number 11 now for Ryan Leonard, his 2nd year as captain of the Bruins. He drops from a 92 down to a 91 overall, now at 30 years of age. All right, but he continues with Coleman on his left and Quinn on his right. Hopefully with these attributes, he can have a fully healthy season as captain, and hopefully it goes a long way for the Bruins, and it seems like it does, as Boston finishes 16th in the NHL. Once again, kind of squeaking into the playoffs, but will take a 42-34-6 record as Ryan Leonard plays in a fully healthy 82-game season finally, and as captain leads the way, 40 goals, 60 assists, 100 points, the first 100-point season of his career as a plus 25 at 31 years of age. This is the type of season we've been waiting for from Ryan Leonard, and the Bruins have been waiting for it as well when they gave him all that money in free agency. Ryan Leonard's 100 points were also 3rd highest in the NHL, so how about that? Hopefully it means something for the postseason, and it does, but just not enough as the Bruins go on a run that ends in the Eastern Conference Final, the furthest run of Leonard's career so far. The Bruins sweep the Capitals. How about that in a rematch against his old team? Ryan Leonard sweeps the Caps in round 1. They beat the Blue Jackets in 6 in round 2, but then fall in 6 to the Red Wings in the Eastern Conference Final. In those 16 games, Ryan Leonard finally woke up for the playoffs. 9 goals, 12 assists, and 21 points as a plus 9 through 16 games. At 31 years of age, his attributes are still as high as ever. They haven't dropped off just yet, and we'll hope that that continues to be maintained moving into year number 12. Year number 12, and after a career year, Ryan Leonard grows to a 93 overall. We've never seen this yet for him. 93 overall Ryan Leonard, the captain leading the way, Coleman on his left, Quinn on his right, same as always. Here are the highest his attributes have ever been. 5-star everything minus the 4-star skating. What an incredible player. Could he one up the 100-point season he did last year? Let's find out in just a moment as the Bruins once again make the playoffs in a kind of squeaky fashion. 16th place in the NHL with a 43-34-5 record. And it was greatly in part to Ryan Leonard, who has a career high in goals and points, appearing in 81 games, scoring 53 goals and 55 assists for 108 points from the captain. A huge season from him as he finishes 2nd in NHL scoring. So close to that hardware. He wants it. But in the postseason, of course, the Bruins fall in round 1 in 7 games to the eventual Stanley Cup champion Red Wings, who eliminated them last season. And by the way, who finished 19th in the NHL. They were the last team to make it in. They finished 19th, and they beat the Bruins to go on to win the Stanley Cup. How about that? What a story. In 7 games, Ryan Leonard scores 2 goals and 6 assists for 8 points, is still a 93 overall, with his attributes looking like this, the 99 aggressiveness, 97 strength. He'll hope that that continues headed into year number 13. Year number 13 and Ryan Leonard at a 93 overall. Still has Coleman on his left, but no more Jack Quinn on his right, as he now has this guy Platt, who's only an 82 overall, so I'm a bit hesitant about that. Ryan Leonard still looks great at that 93 overall. Nothing to be worried about right there. It is also the final year of his big contract that he signed in free agency, so keep an eye on that. And sadly, the Bruins in Leonard's final year of his contract finish 30th in the NHL. 28, 47, and 7 was their record. 19 goals and 53 assists for Ryan Leonard. Is that the lowest goal total in a full season of his career? I think so. 72 points in 82 games. Where's that guy Platt? Where is he? 26 points from Platt. Look at that at the bottom. Negative 38. He must have been moved or something. No way that guy was playing first line the whole time. Oh my goodness. Ryan Leonard, despite that extreme disappointment, 91 penalty minutes even as well, remains as a 93 overall. Still looks good attribute-wise, but you got to get him some help on that first line. With no contract, will he hit unrestricted free agency once again, or will the captain stick around? Year number 14, and in the 2038 offseason, Ryan Leonard decides to stick around in Boston a little while longer, staying as their captain and first-line center at a 91 overall with Coleman on his left, and this guy Sylvester at an 81 overall. Yikes, on his right. Ryan Leonard signs a 3-year contract with a full no-move clause, paying him $15.395 per year, which will pay him just over $46 million. The attributes are starting to drop a little bit. 4.5-star defense, 4.5-star shooting. Okay, all right. And after a super disappointing regular season last year, could this year be more of the same? No, the Bruins are back in the playoffs. 11th place in the NHL, finishing with a 44, 31, and 6 record. This is the Ryan Leonard that we want to see. 30 goals, 54 assists, 84 points from the captain in 77 games played. That guy Sylvester scored like 33 points, so it looks to really just be Coleman and Leonard up on that top line. But in the playoffs, it's another round 2 exit as the Bruins squeak out a 7-game thriller against the Senators, only to lose in 6, again to the eventual Stanley Cup champion team, this time being the Florida Panthers. In those 13 games, Ryan Leonard scored 4 goals and 8 assists for 12 points in 13 games and remains a 91 overall, moving into his 15th NHL season. Year number 15, and Ryan Leonard is going to love this, as finally he has some support on this first line. Coleman has grown to a 92 overall on his left, and this guy Malden has joined him on his right as an 89 overall. Leonard himself as a 91, now at 34 years of age, is holding his overall well despite his age, and the Bruins really benefit from that top line as they win the division, just the second, or I should say third division title of Leonard's career. 2 with the Capitals, now 1 with the Bruins, as Boston finishes 9th in the league. 45, 30, and 7 was their record, as Leonard led the team in points, 42 goals and 43 assists for 85 points across a fully healthy 82-game season. But in the playoffs, to no one's surprise, the Bruins fall in 6 games to the New York Rangers, who beat the Leafs, lose to the Blue Jackets, and the Blue Jackets win the Cup. In the postseason, Leonard mustered just 1 goal, but he did score 5 points in 5 games, -3 in that first round, and now drops to an 87 overall at 35 years of age, as his potential also drops to exact top 6. As you can see here, still the 5-star shooting, 5-star senses, but everything else starting to drop off headed into year number 16. Year number 16, Ryan Leonard maintains his 87 overall at 35 years of age, but no longer has Coleman on his left. It's now Latti at an 89 overall, and Malden still on his right, but he drops from an 89 to an 85. The depth here in Boston looks atrocious as well. 78 overall, second-line center. Yikes. Same attributes as we left him off with at the end of last postseason as well. He's going to have to really do a lot of carrying at 35 years of age. Final year of his contract as well. Don't forget about that in the 3-year extension that he signed. And he somehow pulls the Bruins to the playoffs with a 12th place finish. I don't know how, but the Bruins go 45, 33, and 4 to finish 12th in the NHL. I can't remember the last time Leonard stays relatively healthy and still finishes 3rd on his line in scoring, but through 75 games played, Leonard still adds 31 goals and 32 assists for a 63-point season as a +12. And in the postseason, the Bruins fall once again in round number 1, this time in 5 games to the Flyers, who then lose to the Maple Leafs, who go on to lose to the LA Kings. In those 5 games, Ryan Leonard did lead the team in points as captain. Very good. 2 goals, 4 assists, and 6 points. But now at an 82 overall, big drop-off. Leonard is listed as a second-line forward. Still top 6 potential, but with these attributes looking like this now, with 3.5-star puck skills, 3.5-star defense, 2.5-star skating, Leonard took a big hit this season. Will he want to stay with the Bruins? Will the Bruins want to stay with him? Let's find out in the 2041 offseason. Ryan Leonard is back in year number 17 as the captain re-ups with the Bruins on a one-year contract, paying him $4.825 million, but to play in a reduced role as the now 82 overall at 36 years of age will be the second line right wing, with this guy McFarland centering the line at an 85 and Jaskalainen at an 80 on the left wing. Yikes. Ryan Leonard in a reduced role will now have to kind of change his game perhaps. Attributes looking like this, still a 5-star shooting, and in the regular season the Bruins do struggle as they finish 20th in the NHL, going 40, 35, and 7 to miss out on the postseason. Ryan Leonard, again, reduced role, reduced ice time, reduced output, 20 goals, 31 assists, 51 points, but in a fully healthy 82-game season, the captain pulled his weight. It's those guys at the top that just couldn't seem to get it done. At the end of year number 17, Leonard maintains his 82 overall, maintains his top 6 potential. Attributes still look the same, I believe, as at the start of the season, but will the 37-year-old be back for year number 18? The captain is back once more as Ryan Leonard signs another one-year contract in the 2042 offseason to stick around in Boston. The captain signs on for $4.825 million to remain on the second line, but now centering that line with Krebs at an 85 on his left and Beta at an 84 on his right. So hopefully that's a better line, better output. Attributes look like this as his shooting now drops to 4.5 stars. Okay. And in the regular season, the Bruins do crawl their way back to the playoffs, now with a top 10 finish. How about that? 10th place in the NHL with 43, 31, and 8 being their record. Ryan Leonard doesn't do as much, or maybe the same pace, I should say, offensively as last year, probably about the same. 23 goals and 24 assists for 47 points in 77 games played, -5 as well, entering the postseason injured, unfortunately, at 38 years of age. And in that postseason, the Bruins fall in round 1 to the Rangers, who go on to lose to the Flyers, lose to the Senators, who lose to the Sharks, so the Bruins are the ultimate losers of the 2043 postseason. In those 6 games, Ryan Leonard appeared in 4 of them. He was scoreless and a -3. That hurts for the captain. He somehow grows to an 83 overall, though, as his potential drops to exact top 9. Will it be another one-year extension for the captain who's back to 5-star shooting, or will it finally be time for him to move on? And move on he does, as to begin year number 19, Ryan Leonard signs a one-year contract with the St. Louis Blues, paying him $3.915 million. After 11 seasons with the Bruins, Ryan Leonard moves on in free agency, signing with the Blues, being named an alternate captain right away. That's a great little touch right there too. Awesome. He rejoins his good old friend Nicholas Byrne, who he was with in Boston as well, and I see why he would go with St. Louis. He's getting first-line minutes. However, not really first-line talent around him, as it's an 83 overall on his left and an 80 overall on his right. As an 81 overall going on 39 years of age, can he carry the Blues? It doesn't really seem like it, as in year number 19, the Blues finished 26th in the NHL with a 37, 38, and 7 record. But Ryan Leonard has a big resurgence offensively, as playing those first line minutes allowed him to score 35 goals and 38 assists, 73 points in 81 games played from the now 39-year-old, who's down to an 80 overall, listed as a third-line scoring forward with bottom 6 potential. But you know what? Look at these attributes. He's still got it. 4.5-star shooting, 4-star senses. Yes, the skating's at 2 stars. The physical, you know what, for 39 is still good enough. Do the Blues want to run things back? Let's find out. Year number 20. After his resurgent season in St. Louis, Ryan Leonard goes to free agency and finds a solid payday at $7.065 million on a one-year deal with the Buffalo Sabres, once again getting the first-line minutes that he wants, now with an 87 on his left and a 90 on his right. How about that for the now going on 40-year-old Ryan Leonard? My goodness, check out the attributes. 5-star shooting, he's back with the 95 accuracies as well. He's still got it at 2-star skating, and the Sabres have a little bit of passion as they finished 13th in the NHL with a 43, 33, and 6 record. Ryan Leonard appears in 69 games, scoring 31 goals and 26 assists for a 57-point season from the now 40-year-old first-line center. At 40 years of age, this might be Ryan Leonard's last chance to get a sniff at the Stanley Cup, and in the 2045 postseason, the Buffalo Sabres fall in the Stanley Cup final. Ryan Leonard's first career Stanley Cup final, as the Sabres beat the Devils in 6, sweep the Penguins in 4, and beat the Panthers in 6. They fall in 6 to the Chicago Blackhawks, as Ryan Leonard was that close. In 22 games played, Ryan Leonard scored 6 goals and 6 assists for 12 points as a -5, and now has AHL top 6 potential, but is still an 81 overall, so I wonder if he might have another season left in him. And that he does. Moving into his 21st NHL season, Ryan Leonard signs a 2-year contract with the Calgary Flames, paying him $6 million per season to play as a third liner, now at 79 overall on the right wing. An 86 overall Berglund centers that third line, and then a 78 is over on that left wing. But Ryan Leonard, now as a 79 overall, has shown that he can still do it, but at 40 years of age, when is that drop-off going to come? And in year number 21, the Flames sadly do not make the postseason as they finished 19th in the NHL. 40, 33, and 9 was their record, as Ryan Leonard definitely felt it this season as he scores just 13 goals and 17 assists for 30 points as a -13 in 63 games played. Now listed as a depth forward with AHL top 6 potential at 41 years of age, you gotta think that's likely all Leonard had left in the tank. And sadly, it was, as in the 2046 offseason, Ryan Leonard calls it a career, retiring after 21 seasons in the NHL, having played 1,604 games, scoring 605 goals and 845 assists for 1,450 points. Although he still had 1 year left on his contract, at time of retirement, Ryan Leonard was a 77 overall, now listed as a minor scoring forward. So I think it was time with the 1.5-star skating and all that. Still the 4.5-star shooting, but Ryan Leonard at the age of 41 was ready to call it. If we go through his seasons, look some of his highest totals, his best was a 53-goal season with the Bruins, also 60 assists with the Bruins. He did have a 58 assist season with the Capitals. Both of his 100-plus point seasons came with Boston, his best being 108 points. And just scrolling through some of Leonard's other career numbers, he had 84 game-winning goals, 263 power play points, 34 shorthanded points, averaging 20 of ice time throughout his career. On the faceoff dot, he was very consistent at 55.45%. And look at these hits, 3,406 hits thrown in his career, and great takeaway to giveaway ratio, 1,903 takeaways to 1,001 giveaways. And for the postseason numbers, for someone who didn't have a lot of postseason success, Ryan Leonard did play a lot of postseason games. 123 games played in his career in the playoffs, scoring 32 goals and 66 assists for 98 points across 13 postseason berths. But in 11 out of those 13 berths, Leonard lost in round 1 or 2, making it to the third round or further just twice, losing in the Eastern Conference Final once and losing the Stanley Cup Final once with Buffalo in his final opportunity. And of course, by the year 2046, the NHL record book will look very different. But if we were to compare Leonard's numbers in 2046 to the current day NHL records, his 1,603 games played, I'm not sure why the game says 1,604. That's some sort of franchise mode glitch, because I counted it all very carefully and it's 1,603, but I digress. Those games played would place him 14th all time between Ray Bourque and Nick Lidstrom. His 605 goals would place him 20th all time between Dino Ciccarelli and Jari Kurri. His 845 assists would place him 27th all-time between Bobby Clarke and Henrik Sedin, and his 1,450 points would place him 19th all-time between Teemu Selanne and Brian Trottier. So here are the career numbers for you, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to have a nice little resume of it all to just wrap it all up. From 2025 to 2046, Ryan Leonard played 21 NHL seasons, making $205.63 million, 538 games played with the Capitals, scoring 202 goals and 281 assists for 483 points. Not much success in the playoffs, 5 goals, 19 assists, 24 points in 38 games, before he went to the Boston Bruins, eventually becoming their captain, playing 11 seasons there, 852 games played, 324 goals, 483 assists, and 807 points. Much more success in the playoffs, but still not that much. 63 games played, 21 goals, 41 assists, and 62 points, before he bounced around in his last 3 seasons, playing in St. Louis for a year, scoring 73 points, playing in Buffalo for a year, scoring 57 points in 69 games, and making it to his one and only Stanley Cup final, scoring 12 points on that run, and finally in Calgary, scoring 30 points in his 63-game season there, to To wrap it all up for Leonard, as he scored 605 goals and 845 assists for 1,450 points across 1,603 games played in the National Hockey League. And we can't forget the physical side of Leonard's game either. I didn't list everything here, but he did have 1,070 penalty minutes, which would place him 6th all-time for players who scored over 1,000 points and over 1,000 penalty minutes. And his 3,604 hits puts him in a category of his own, basically only up there with Alexander Ovechkin, two Capitals, funnily enough, for players who scored over 1,000 points and had over 2,000 hits, let alone over 3,000 or over 3,500 hits. So Leonard and Ovechkin really in a category of their own. In the playoffs, Leonard scored 32 goals and 66 assists for 98 points in 123 games played. And when you wrap it all up for an 82-game career average, Leonard was good for 31 goals, 43 assists, 74 points, and 184 hits per 82 games played in his career. Ladies and gentlemen, there is the career of Ryan Leonard. It's too bad he didn't stick around in Washington for too long, playing just 7 seasons there, but if he were to go anywhere, I suppose it makes sense that he goes to his home state of Massachusetts to play for the Bruins, spends 11 seasons there, named captain. Just such disappointment that he couldn't get that postseason success. So close as well to a little bit of hardware. Second runner-up or first runner-up for the Art Ross, or for maybe even for the Hart. I'm sure he had a lot of votes in his career, but no major awards for Ryan Leonard. Still a career to be very proud of, and I want to hear what are your thoughts on it down here in the comments or over on the Discord server, link in the description. What do you think about this career? What are the highlights? What are the lowlights? And of course, whose career do you want to see simulated next? A huge thank you once again to Lacton for doing the simulation in this one. If you'd like to join our team of simulators, join the Discord server and let me know. We'd love to have you. And yes, please do let me know whose career you want to see simulated next so that we can get into this. With franchise mode being kind of broken right now since the most recent NHL 25 patch, I want to do some more career sims, and I'd love to have you suggest a bunch of names for us to get through. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and of course, subscribe if you haven't already to be made aware of all of our uploads here on the channel, our career sims, our franchise modes. It's free to subscribe. It doesn't give me anything, but if you're enjoying the content here on the channel, it'll make you aware of when those uploads happen. Hit the bell so that you'll be notified for all of our live streams and everything else as well, and we'd love to see you there. Thank you once again for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again in the next one as we get through our next NHL 25 simulation.